kiddos! Today we're going to review what we've learned about rivers and then use that to think and write about what makes or what would be the shortest river in the United States, or maybe even in the world. Let's find out. So our learning target today is I can use what I know about rivers to decide which is the shortest river. So first, let's review what we learned about rivers in this unit. We learned about where the Missouri River and the Milk River come together and why it looks so strange where they meet. We learned that rivers flow from high places to low places. One of the activities you could have done is making a paper mountain and making it rain. This one was a little messy, so it's all right if you just watch the videos of it. When you look at this paper mountain, can you spot any places where two rivers came together, just like the Missouri River and the Milk River? Here are two places where we see rivers coming together as they go downhill. You might have seen rivers come together on your paper mountain too if you did the project. We also learned that rivers erode the land. The land breaks into rocks, and rocks break down into sand. Do you see any rocks breaking down and falling into the Milk River in this picture? I'm noticing the rocks here that seem to have fallen into the river right here. Also, you can see how the river kind of has that brownish color from things going into it with erosion. Now, if you go back and look at all of your jams throughout this unit, you'll notice how your thinking changed. Let's take a look at how this student's thinking changed throughout the unit. Here was her first drawing, and we'll compare it to her second drawing. Do you see at least two things that are the same on both of her worksheets? Pause the video if you need extra time to look. Here are some things that were the same that we noticed. The Missouri River in her sketch starts in the mountains, and it ends out at the ocean or a larger piece of water. Now let's contrast. When you contrast things, you're finding the difference. What do you notice that's different on these two worksheets? How did her thinking change from the first one to the second one? Here are two things we noticed that are different. We put rings around the things that are different so you can see them easier. You're not going to go do those to your jams, though. We're just going to look at them, and then you can go look at your own jams to notice the things that are the same and different in your thinking. It looks like this kiddo learned that rivers start in a high place like a mountain, and she also learned about eroding rocks and sand. She didn't know about that in her first one. Now, in today's video, I want to teach you about another special river that flows into the Missouri River. It's called the Roe River. It's near Great Falls, Montana, in the USA. Let's watch a video. Now, this is the entire Roe River. Some people think it's the shortest river in America. This picture shows where some people think the source is. It's only about 200 feet or 60 meters from the source to the mouth. Let's play the video to see where water flows from the source to the mouth and out into the Missouri River. So here's the source, and it flows under the bridge and out to the Missouri River. The Roe River is definitely a short river. But some people think there's a different river that's even shorter. Let's go to that river now. This is Lincoln City, Oregon, in the USA. There's a river here called the Dee River. Many people think the Dee River is the shortest river. Here it is. This is the entire Dee River. Some of the time it's about 400 feet or 120 meters long. The source is near a parking lot. The mouth is the Pacific Ocean. So, the Roe River is 200 feet long. Some of the time the Dee River is 400 feet long. Why do you think people think the Dee River is shorter? Well, sometimes the Dee River is shorter. Sometimes the ocean comes up high on the beach. When the ocean comes up high like this, the Dee River is only about 100 feet or 30 meters long. That's one of the reasons it's very hard to know which river is shorter. It's hard to say where the Dee River ends. When the tide is further away and the ocean is further away, the mouth of the Dee River is 400 feet from its source. But when it's high tide and the ocean comes up close, the mouth of the Dee River is only 100 feet away. It's also hard to say where each river starts. The water for the Roe River comes from a small pool of water. So take a moment and think. Where do you think the pool ends? This is the pool right here. And the river begins. Where would you say the source is? The exact spot where the Roe River begins. The water for the Dee River comes from something called Devil's Lake. The next video shows you how the water moves from the lake to the river. Here's Devil's Lake over here, and there's the Dee River right there. So let's click play to see where the water goes from Devil's Lake into the Dee River. Okay, so here we are at the lake. We're going up into the air. It's hard to tell where the lake ends and the river starts, isn't it? It could be anywhere along here where the river begins. It's hard to say exactly where. Okay, so it's hard to say how long a river is if you aren't sure where the river starts and where the river ends. But that's what you're going to try to do. Go back and re-watch parts of the video if you need to. And then today, in the comments on this lesson, tell your opinion. Which river do you think is shorter, and why do you think so? Some of your friends might have a different opinion than you, and that's okay. We can respectfully disagree with each other. But to help them understand your thinking, it's really going to be important to use the word because. So you'll type, I think the Roe River is shorter because, or maybe you'll type, I think the Dee River is shorter because, and then you'll tell your thinking. I look forward to hearing your thinking as I read the chat. Or, excuse me, as I read the comments. That's all for now. I'll see you in the next video.